It's Monday night, and we got our eyes focused on Mexico City. The NFL is going worldwide. They're trying to grow the game, so this one matters not just for them, but also to both teams. You see the 49ers fans out there, so are the Cardinals fans. They're looking for their boys to keep their postseason hopes alive, so you know what time it is. Time to get you ready for Monday Tailgate presented by Snickers. I'm your host, Skubie Mageza, here with Erin Dolan and Daniel Dopp. This is the squad that we have every single week. Thank y'all for joining the show. We got plenty ahead in this show for y'all. We got Jason Fitz coming in to show his Fitz committee, like the playoff football committee, and give us his top 6 teams. And then we got this matchup. And then we got LME coming, Luis Miguel Echegaray. We will be a World Cup type of flow with this show just to give that Mexico City vibe. But we have this matchup in Mexico City, Erin.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one. First thoughts initially.
First thoughts is, from a betting perspective, it's kind of tough to handicap because it's just a totally different playing field. A lot of people talk about this altitude and whatnot. But, I mean, double-digit favorite for Monday Night Football in Mexico City seems like a lot of points to me.
A lot of points. Hey, listen, no Kyler Murray, Colt McCoy. I'm looking at Rondell Moore. 8 or more targets in 5-6 games, being able to find ways to be able to manufacture touches and move the ball. I want to see the way they utilize him today.
All right, yeah. I can't wait to see how this offense is going to play with Cliff Kingsbury kind of being like, we're keeping an eye on what he's doing with this team. So I'm excited for that. But now, let's continue the show and bring in our friend Luis Miguel Echegaray. What's going on, my guy?
First of all, I'm loving la cultura, the flavor, the Latin beat this week. Mexico City, baby, I love it.
Yes, I love that. He always has the crazy energy. Last time you were on the show in studio, you salsa'd in person, so I'm surprised that you actually didn't stand up and do it here for us. But we're going to do our Monday memes, and Luis Miguel is here with us to give us the World Cup flavor and relate the NFL teams towards a soccer team. So we'll talk football, and he will talk football. Does that sound good?
Hey, man, that sounds excellent, Scooby and the gang. I love it. I can't wait. By the way, the USMNT, the U.S. men's national team, played today, and they kind of reminded me, because they were about to win that game. They gave away a penalty at the end of that game. They kind of remind me a little bit of what the Denver Broncos did against the Raiders in OT. A horrific mistake, right? Nathaniel Hackett, but listen what, Scooby, I can't wait to do this NFL World Cup with Gary. I can't wait, baby.
I love it, bro. Look at him. He's already off and running. Gotta love the energy, my guy. All right, let's start with the AFC East with my Patriots getting the win against the Jets. And this is a game that didn't have much offense, as you can tell here by this meme. And the visual representation of the QB battle was just bad. It was a 3-3 soccer game. Mac Jones and Zach Wilson didn't look good.
Real bad.
But it came down to a punt return by Marcus Jones, 84 yards with 5 seconds left to win it, proving once again that it takes all 3 phases to win this thing called football. Now, great win for my team, but Dopp, Zach Wilson and the Jets had negative 21 passing yards in the second half, the fewest allowed by any team in a half this season. And in his post-game comments, he said he feels like he didn't let the defense down.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I have a lot of them. First is, how dare you? How dare you think that? What do you mean you didn't let the defense down? Like, listen.
Especially with those numbers. It wasn't even like he put up over 200 passing yards. 77.
Exactly. This offense and the rest of this team is too good for what Zach Wilson has given them right now. And I realize there's no Breece Hall, he's on IR, but Garrett Wilson and that defense, everything that they're doing with Sauce Gardner, like, Zach Wilson needs to step up and be a leader of this team. This was just not the way to do it.
No, and it feels like when somebody makes a comment like that, it's like a character flaw type situation, because you know you're responsible for that. You're the quarterback of a franchise, and to be in New York and knowing that fan base, I'm not saying they're as bad as Philly, but they definitely have something to say.
Well, Garrett Wilson said the Jets were sorry. The offense didn't look good. He swore. He didn't have some things that he said some things that I can't say right now, and he was very
That's
upset
how
with
he
this
should
team.
have felt
so
after that
he took
game.
ownership, unlike Zach Wilson, who did not take ownership, which was a surprise to see. I like to see that the rookie is stepping up there. But LME, who would you compare this team to?
Skubie, this is such an easy starting point right now. The Jets, a team with talent that give you so much home, just a little glimpse of hope, and then they take it all away. Their head coach saying they're a sorry team, they're dog poop, they don't like it, whatever. This, in the spirit of Estadio Azteca, is the Mexican national team. This is a team that has a lot of talent, a lot of promise, a lot of passionate fans, but they never deliver, ever. And to add 1 point to Erin, what she said about the passing yards, I'm looking at the stats here. Zach Wilson going for what? 77 yards, 9 for 22. That's just pitiful. And that's a Mexican problem too. Mexican strikers right now are not plentiful. They're really struggling to score goals. This is the New York Jets. This is perfect, Skubie. The Jets are the Mexican national team. And guess what? Mexico plays tomorrow. And if they don't win that opening game, more and more drama, just like the Jets.
Listen, the Patriots have beat the Jets twice and only scored 1 touchdown.
That's
and it
insane.
wasn't even on offense.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the Jets offense, Robert Saleh came out and had some comments. He said that he is not committing to Zach Wilson as the starting QB on Sunday. As of now, he needs to watch some more tape in order to make that decision. So, Erin, after the game Sunday, he defended his decision to stick with him, but now it seems like he's backtracking a little bit.
I would too. I'm pretty sure everyone in the locker room is pretty pissed off, as they should be. But also, how did you not bench him during that game? At what point did you think this was going to get better? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a head coach, but I feel like the writing was on the wall there.
It feels like the easy thing is you say you've got to let, like the simple lazy argument, you got to let Zach Wilson play through these struggles and figure things out. But
not
I think
when you have a defense like that.
This is the thing. I would rather have Joe Flacco and be able to figure out how he can help everyone else get better around that team, because I think that maturation is so much more valuable than whatever Zach Wilson's going to bring there.
Yeah.
So
They had one of the top passing offenses in the NFL when Joe Flacco was under center.
Yeah.
Now, they did throw the ball a lot, but me, as a Garrett Wilson fantasy owner,
That's right.
would love
That's
to
right.
see Joe Flacco under center. Now, let's go to the NFC East, where Kirk Cousins took a career high in sacks against the Cowboys, and it was a straight-up beat down. The last time we saw the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy was throwing his headset into the ground as they blew a lead against the Packers, but this week, they were routed 40-3, and look at the chains on his neck.
Gosh.
I mean, this is obviously a meme compared to how they have Kirk Cousins on the plate wearing his chains, but listen, Erin, this only makes the NFC East look a lot tougher. They're combined for a winning percentage of 70.7 right now, the highest by any division through Week 11 since the 1970 merger. Dak Prescott and that offense looks good. So I got one question for you as an Eagles fan. How about them Cowboys?
Whoa. All right, look, this was a really good win for them. They looked dominant, but also there was a lot of things that, like you talked about the sacks, most sacks since 2008. Then you got Dak Prescott, completed 88% of his passes, third best in Cowboys history. Everything went in their favor in this game. They could not have played possibly better. I just think the NFC East as a whole is so competitive, but the Eagles have the better record right now, and that might be what's good enough.
I don't know.
You don't think?
It's not that I don't think. I
their
think
schedule's so easy down the stretch.
So their schedule is so easy, but the Cowboys needed to have Dak Prescott get back on track, whether it was this way or not. Like, they needed to have Dak get back into the flow. They needed to have Dalton Schultz get back. And so understanding that their running game is just so unbelievably dominant. Tony Pollard has worked himself into a spot where he's sort of saying, like, hey, there's no way you can take me off the field. I'm too good for you to take off the field right now. And so he's in this committee where, thankfully, hopefully, Zeke Elliott continues to be like the change of pace back, and Tony Pollard can be the guy here. But I don't know, man. With that defense and everything like that.
I know, look, it's really tough. It's really tough. It's really tough to say.
Pollard and Zeke have been reminding me of, like, when Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram were just a crazy 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
That's what it's reminding me of. But LME, what does this remind you of when it comes down to football?
All right, this game was nuts, everybody. Nobody saw this coming. Okay, maybe you might have seen a loss, but not in this particular way. And so Justin Jefferson called it embarrassing, a disaster all around, wishing they had adjusted to the game faster. And Vikings were being talked about the second best team in the NFL before this game. And now this loss takes them back to earth, right? So to me, this game is about France. and playing Denmark in their group later on. France, as many soccer fans know, are the defending champions. They won the World Cup in 2018. So much talent, so much swag, so much confidence. But Denmark is a team that can shock you just like that. And this game, to me, is that epitome. Vikings losing to the Cowboys wasn't surprising. It was the manner in the way that they lost. And I feel that France, because they've lost some really key players, Karim Benzema is out, who's the best player in the world right now, of course, and so many other injuries, Denmark, a very good collective team, can take advantage. So it's not so much about a parallel of teams, but just a parallel of the shock value right now. The Vikings getting killed by the Cowboys is a shock. And so will this. Denmark will beat France.
Look at him. He's also giving you guys a bet like Erin is giving us bets, right?
Throwing it in there.
All right, let's stay in the NFC East because let's give a shout out to
division.
Erin's Eagles.
It is a great division.
They get the wins, and we know that they got Heineke'd by the Commanders. Their only blemish, their only loss, but they almost dropped again this week. It was a scare. They were trailing by double digits heading into the fourth quarter against the Jeff Saturday Colts. But they're still 9-1. We saw Nick Sirianni, the head coach, get really emotional after the game because he wanted to get that win for Frank Wright because he was OC before he moved on to be with the Eagles. But, hey, good win here. How are you feeling about your team in this situation in such a tough division?
I feel like in the last two games, we've seen a lot of growth. One, they needed to lose a game finally to be punched in the mouth. That had to have happened. I didn't want this to happen in the postseason. Eventually, they were going to drop a game. It made sense on a Monday Night Football game. And there was a couple question marks there with some calls. And that's obviously coming as a fan. But nonetheless, in this game, what I think is important is that they were able to come back. They figured out how to be down going into the fourth quarter, and they got the win. We know the Eagles are really good in the first half of games. They're terrible in the second half. So the fact that they did that proved to me that they can figure things out in crunch time. Again, not against the best team, but they figured it out and they got the win, which is important.
The Jeff Saturday Colts were the ones that were more poised in this game, to tell you the truth. But the defense stepped up, Dopp, for the Eagles, and they signed Ndamukong Suh earlier this week, and the guy was out there playing a large role in that defense.
This NFC East is the best division in football, I think, in my opinion, and I understand that there's still a lot of football left to play, but both the Cowboys and the Eagles, they are two really unbelievable teams. Now, obviously, the New York Football Giants just got beat by the Detroit Lions. Do you know?
LME.
I'm sorry, we had to mention that real fast. No big deal.
You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
All of our teams won. All of our teams won this week, and yours happened to lose. No wonder why he isn't wearing a Giants hat like he was last week when he was partying it up in New York City.
I'm so sorry.
I like to accessorize, Scooby. So I like to play it around.
All right, keep playing around.
Fine. Listen,
what does this relate to?
All right, your Lions deserve that win. We were terrible about the injuries. Cough, the injuries. Anyway, let's keep moving. The Eagles right now, right, to me, are like Brazil. They both are the top-ranked teams, great leaders, insane talent, can score at will, individual comebacks as well as collective, and they could change a game like that. A.J. Brown, of course, and you have so much talent in the Brazilian team as well. Jalen Hurts, to me, is the biggest parallel. Because from what Erin said before, right? This team, this game in particular against the Colts, was about Jalen Hurts and what he did with his feet. You know, some real crucial first downs in that quarter, making sure that they got the win. He had to just do it himself in order to make it happen. Well, Brazilians have a player called Neymar Jr., one of the best players out there, and he could pass Pele's record momentarily if he keeps on scoring. So that's how good both teams are. But I'll tell you one last thing about this thing, though. And this is the thing about the beauty of the NFL, of this NFL season and this World Cup. It's not a slam dunk for either. Because even though they are favorite contenders, there's still a lot of other teams that can make it happen. And that's the beauty of the World Cup and this NFL season. The difference between the best teams and everybody else is at its thinnest. Anybody can take this on any given day, any given Sunday, or any given World Cup fixture, and I love it. But the Eagles, Brazil, write that down.
Ooh, I like that one. LME is always coming with the straight, cold, hard facts.
Love it.
Which brings us into this next segment, because the Eagles are doing really well, but there's some other teams not doing so well who are trying to save their season. So it's now time for us to get into Saving the Season, presented by Synchrony Bank Savings. And I thought this week we could look at some coaches who might be in trouble if they don't finish the season strong. Now, we're not analysts or column writers or anything. We're not saying people who are on the hot seat, but which coaches can still finish off the season strong and save it going forward as we are 11 weeks through the NFL. So, starting with the coaches that you see here are the ones that we have on our list that we think have a chance at saving the seasons. We all have somebody that we have chosen here. Erin, starting with you. Matter of fact, Dopp, why not? Starting with you.
Yeah, I want to talk about Matt Eberflus. I mean, listen, I understand he's 3-8, right? I understand that the Bears, just on a season record, not been very good. But one of the things that I love about him is the way that he sees his quarterback as somebody to be able to build around. He is not forcing a system around Justin Fields. He's finding ways to be able to let Justin Fields do the things that he is good at. Now, this offense has still got to get better in the passing game, but we've watched Cole Kmet get better. We've watched Darnell Mooney come on. They've got Chase Claypool. There are things that they can add to this offense. It's not just about this year, and that's the thing. It's about him being able to build a system around Justin Fields, and I think that he is in a great spot here in his first year where he is doing that and establishing a lot of trust within this team by being able to just lean in to his franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and I agree with Dopp. I feel like, especially from a betting perspective, Justin Fields has been so good in some players on this team, and you kind of do trust this team to a certain extent when you are betting on player props. Yes, they're 3-8. They're not winning many games, but at the same time, I think they look like they have a bright future compared to some of these other coaches that are listed.
Yeah, even though they really have been winning.
It's 3-0 for this segment for me as well, guys. I feel like Eberflus, he's consistently been one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. So obviously, defensively, it can happen. And I totally agree. I think there's a project here with Justin Fields, even though obviously we know about the injury, and we'll see how that goes. But here's a stat for you that's not really that, incredible or whatever. But the last 3 games, they lost 24-17, 31-30, and 35-32. They're sticking in here. They're sticking in every game. So there is a project to be made, and I believe that with the talent that they have, they can definitely continue. Everybody else, including Nathaniel Hackett, get out of here.
Everyone went with Eberflus, so let me go ahead and go with something differently. I think Josh McDaniels is still safe, has an opportunity to save the season. Yes, the Raiders, he's safe because I'm a Patriots fan. But hear me out now. It just confirmed it for me even more when I saw Mark Davis come out in support of Josh McDaniels. And not only that, Derek Carr and Devontae Adams came out and they said hearing Mark Davis back up their head coach gave them opportunity to kind of just exhale, because it gave them an opportunity to know that he believes in this head coach with everything that this team has gone through all the tragedies. Derek Carr talked about it, the things that they have seen, to know that they have a leader there that is going to be there for a while, having the coach back them up. And as a Patriots fan, I know how difficult that system that Josh McDaniels runs. It is not easy to pick up. And this week, they just decided, feed Devontae Adams.
Did. I disagree with you, but hey, I'm not a former Patriots fan, so it's no big deal.
All right. Check back next week for more Saving the Season presented by Synchrony Bank Savings. Now, it is Thanksgiving week, and we know you all have your passionate food takes about Thanksgiving and all that you have to go around it. So it's time for the Rookie Mistake presented by Snickers. And we're going to start with things that you guys believe is a hot take or mistakes made at Thanksgiving. Erin, starting with you this time, for real.
The mistake is just all around. Nobody really likes any of this food, I'm convinced. Really, do we love turkey? Why would we eat it once a year? Why would we have these sides once a year? What? Honestly, I think you show up with your own food if you're that close with your family, which I do. And maybe some cereal or something like that. But honestly, I'm not a Thanksgiving
cereal? All right, you stepped out of bounds with the cereal
are so good.
Honeycombs are so good, but what does that have to do with Thanksgiving? Those are not mutually exclusive.
Thanksgiving food's not good.
Oh
like,
my God.
You know you're eating it because you're just like, oh, I have to eat it. There's no other reason.
I agree to you to an extent.
Do you have Thanksgiving food any other time of the year?
Yes.
When?
all the freaking time.
When do you cook up a turkey?
Every time that I want joy in my life, Erin.
Okay, I doubt you cook up turkeys throughout the year.
To your point, everyone's rookie mistake is thinking that all the turkey is going to be eaten. When you look at Thanksgiving, what is the one thing that's left in the fridge the most? Turkey. There ain't
no one likes it.
There's no steak tips. There's no mac and cheese in the fridge. There's no macaroni,
These
mashed
poor
potatoes.
turkeys.
None of that is left over. Your rookie mistake is thinking that everyone's going to eat that big ass bird, all right?
Yeah, there's no way. Here's let me say this.
Let me just. Yeah, go ahead, Dopp.
I'm gonna say really quickly. I think both of your rookie mistakes is the fact that you eat too late. I, as a Lions fan, my entire life have eaten Thanksgiving at 12 p.m. because the Lions come on at 12:30. So you know what? I have Thanksgiving lunch. I have all my turkey and mashed potatoes. I watch a football game. I fall asleep during the second football game. And then I wake up and I eat more turkey and mashed potatoes during the last game.
Why is this the one day of the year they want everyone half asleep?
I don't know.
There's some weird stuff that must go by.
If you start eating earlier, you won't have that leftover turkey. That's all I'm saying.
Ugh, turkey.
All right. Now, I'm gonna jump on this turkey-hating bandwagon once again because it's so true. Look, this isn't even my rookie mistake. I'm just sending this PSA to everybody out there. Stop focusing on the turkey so much. Nobody cares. Okay, just rely on the three holy grails of Thanksgiving: the sides, football, and arguing with your family. You stick with those three, and you'll have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, especially when there's some adult beverages included into that.
Politics always come up on Thanksgiving. I don't know why.
There's no way. Politics and honeycombs in the Dolan house. I can't wait for Thanksgiving.
All right, submit your rookie mistake. Visit Snickers.com/rookie mistake for a chance to win tickets to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona. Our guy Dan Orlovsky always had some bizarre food takes, and last week on SportsCenter, he had this to say.
Dan?
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Mashed potatoes. So I do not eat turkey on Thanksgiving. I think it's a waste of calories. So I'm a sides guy. So like mashed potatoes. I like stuffing, but like rye bread stuffing with a little bit of sausage in it. Cranberry sauce.
Do you do the cranberry sauce straight out of the can with the ridges still in it?
Can, for sure. And then sweet potato casserole.
Okay.
But I like the melted marshmallows on the top. You're not disgusted.
I'm actually not disgusted. I was hoping you wouldn't say Ritz crackers on the mac and cheese, which would have, no, God, we should have ended it sooner.
L is amazing and not the worst food take from Dan, honestly.
No, I mean, but Dan left out the most important one, which, let's be real, pie is trash, okay? Everybody's like, I spent years on tour buses and country music going to all the little fairs and festivals. There was always some grandma that come in and be like, no, but my family recipe pie. Your grandma's pie is trash. Everybody's pie is trash. Pie is garbage. Anything pie can do, cake can do better. Yeah, I'm here for you. Don't at me. Or have your grandma at me. Let's see how that goes.
You know what? We didn't bring you here to hear about your food takes, which is absolutely outrageous, by the way. I love pie. But we did bring Fitz on the show for the Fitz Committee. Fitz, for those that don't know, does a college football show every Saturday with AJ McCarron. You should check it out. And in honor of the College Football Playoff Committee, you will give us your top 6 NFL teams.
Yeah, so in the past we've done this where I'm scouring and getting 13 experts. No, I went to a couple of buddies and we debated this. But remember, same rules as college football. So it's not just who's the best. There's a little bit of the eye test, a little bit of who you played, a little bit of who you lost to. So at number 6, I'm going to put in the Titans, okay? The Titans go at number 6 because, frankly, there are things that they do really well, but we all know that the College Football Committee, the playoff committee, would come in and be like, well, I don't like the fact that they can't throw the ball until last week. So the Titans sort of weasel their way in this. If you look at their schedule, they got a lot of wins over bad teams like Indianapolis, the Texans, my beloved Raiders. So, like, the strength of schedule, not the best. Big win, though, where they finally threw the ball well.
You know, I was looking at this game beforehand, and I was like, is Ryan Tannehill going to throw for more than 200 yards? I was ready to put the bet down. And you know what? I didn't do it, but he did. He finally threw the ball well. And not only that, Mike Vrabel has been one of the best coaches in the entire NFL. Really impressive year. Should be one of the Coach of the Year candidates as well.
At number 5, and outside of the playoffs, I can't believe it, the Buffalo Bills.
That far?
The Bills are at 5 because of what's coming in front of them. See, this is where head-to-head matters, right? Like, we'll get into this, but the Bills are at 5 because, frankly, Miami beat them head-to-head, which means I got to put the Dolphins at 4. So this is one of those things where the Dolphins-Bills same record.
AFC East. AFC East here. That's all I have to say. It is tough over there. So it is in the NFC East. But keep going on.
All right, so now we go to number 3 on the list. And this one, comes down to won a lot of games with a backup quarterback. They get their quarterback back. They have a huge win on Sunday that impressed the committee. The Cowboys going at number 3.
Third in the NFL.
One of the best defenses we've seen. They can run the ball on anybody. And when they play well in their passing game, which I think they're capable of more often, they can beat anybody. And the fact that they started off so hot with their backup quarterback. Again, we're using the college football metrics here. You know darn well that the committee be like, well, they were winning with their backup.
You have a point there. Not only that thunder and lightning of Zeke and Pollard, dangerous.
Okay, so now we get to the number 2 team. I'm putting the Eagles in at number 2. And this is where, look, I get to be just like Boo Corrigan, that we have him on Rankings Reaction every week. It feels like there's a different metric for everything, right? The Eagles only have 1 loss. So they should be the best team in all the land. But I can't help the fact that the eye test, the dreaded eye test, tells me there's one team, ain't nobody. Like if you as a Patriots fan were sitting down today and I said, what's the one team in the NFL you don't want to play this weekend? You know that the answer would be the Chiefs, right? So this is what I would challenge everybody, though. If you ask 13 of your friends to pick the best pizza, the argument that would happen from that, like what makes a good pizza, you'd have a 5-hour argument. So trying to figure out what makes the right top 6, but note you look at this list, there's no Baltimore, there's no Minnesota. You go up and down the list.
49ers.
The 49ers might get the 49ers are like the Pac-12. All they got to do is keep winning. If they keep winning, they'll weasel their way into this whole thing too.
And you know what? The 49ers have a chance to win a game tonight going against the Cardinals. And our Michelle Beisner-Buck sat down with George Kittle, who needs himself a big game today. Check it out.
George Kittle here. I don't know if you guys heard the news. We're coming to Mexico, baby.
You were the one that announced that there was going to be a game in Mexico City with a Mexican flag.
I was pretty pumped.
What is it that you love about the Mexican culture?
One of my favorite things about it is so many 49ers fans are Hispanic, and I have felt that ever since my rookie season. Like, I'm from Iowa. I don't really have that type of culture around me. Coming into California and just having those fans, interacting with them, whether it was via social media or at the games, it kind of just opened my eyes to a completely different thing.
What are you most looking forward to about playing in Mexico City at this stadium?
I think we're over 100,000 fans in the stadium, right?
Yeah.
Playing in front of that many fans is going to be so much fun. I saw the game in Germany and with all those fans singing, and that whole atmosphere looked amazing. And I really expect Mexico City to be very similar to that just because it is so many Niners fans. I think they're going to cheer pretty loud for us, and I'm very excited for that atmosphere.
All right, check these cleats out by 49ers linebacker Fred Warner. He'll be rocking these tonight to represent his Fred Warner, my fault. He'll be rocking these to represent his Mexican heritage from his mother's family. Those cleats are fire and LME. You've got a Mexican soccer jersey on you. Mm-hmm. I know how you feel about the soccer matches. Are you pumped?
Mm-hmm. I'm very pumped, all right? And the magic number here, guys, is 5, okay? This is the fifth regular season game in Mexico City in the history of the league, and the 5th international game this year alone. And I love what Greg Kittle said about the Mexican fan base and the Hispanic fan base. Estadio Azteca is one of the most historic stadiums out there. Nearly 90,000 can fit into that stadium. And guess what? Even though the Cardinals have a good, healthy Hispanic following, the 49ers is tremendous. In fact, Vivid Seats estimates that you're probably going to see about 82% of that 87,000 that are going to this game. 82% are going to be 49ers fans. So you're looking at about 75,000 plus. That's a massive, massive stadium. What I love about this is that it's celebrating the Hispanic and Latino NFL fan. We're talking about nearly 40 million people out there who consider themselves Hispanic, Latino NFL fans. You just got to keep this snowball growing and celebrating. And the only thing I want to see now is, because only less than 0.5% of NFL athletes are Hispanic or Latinos, I want to see that grow. So keep growing that game, keep celebrating at Estadio Azteca, but let's go to local communities and really promote this sport.
Yes.
So not doing it just from a football perspective, but from a football perspective. More Latino fans, more Latino NFL players. That's what I want.
Let's go. Love that. Keep growing the game.
Great energy.
And Erin, how about you grow our wallets? What's the best bet tonight while I eat this Snickers?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's changed just a tiny bit, and I know I always tell you never bet parlays, but I feel like you can do a same-game parlay in this
Yeah.
particular. We take the 49ers to win outright. I just don't like the spread with the double digits, so we take them. They're a heavy favorite on the money line, which is why we're doing a same-game parlay.
Okay.
Then also we're going to go George Kittle over 4.5 receptions. Now, it was 3.5 receptions earlier today. It has moved up by the time of this show. Now, as for the Arizona Cardinals defense, they allowed the most targets, catches, and yards per game to tight ends, so I think George Kittle could have a good game. He's also had at least 4 receptions in 6 straight games against the Cardinals, so he might find success in Mexico City. But if you combine them, you can get it at plus money rather than taking these 2 bets, which you wouldn't want to bet these anyways as a single bet because they're so juiced, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So
Yes.
Same game parlay it.
Totally. And if you want to juice up your fantasy lineup, see what I did there?
There we go.
Brandon Ayuk continues to crush it right now, man. Listen, we were all wondering after the CMC trade, how are we going to be able to feed all of the mouths within this offense? And it really feels like Brandon Ayuk is the wide receiver. Deebo Samuel has sort of fallen through the cracks of Kittle and CMC and Ayuk here within this offense. So I'm interested to see the way that they utilize Ayuk and Deebo here tonight because Deebo was an unreal talent, but Brandon Ayuk has been the guy they've been looking at. So down the stretch, who are we going to be able to have that we can count on in our fantasy lineups?
All right, so who are you going to count on to win this game tonight? Let us make our game picks. First up, who we got? Erin?
All right, we're going to go San Fran 24-20.
San Francisco 24-20.
Dopp.
That's not bad, but the right score is 27-18 San Francisco.
So you're telling me to take the points.
Basically, yeah.
Okay,
Just too many points. Too many points.
All right, LME.
Los Vatos de San Francisco, 30-23, 30-23 to the 49ers.
Let's go. I'm going to take 49ers 28-19 in this. Ooh, Staff, last week we all went with the Eagles and lost. What you got for us?
Oh, they did it! Man, we're screwed.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's
this is gonna
all
come
we
back
have
on
for you
us.
today. Thank you for watching Monday Tailgate presented by Snickers. Enjoy the game. Watch it right here on the app. Have a good night. Peace. We got a clean sweep.